Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to your week. As per usual, if you could just smash that like. Oh, give it a little Monday morning love. We'll get started in just a couple of minutes. Catch them vibes. Uh-oh. Before we get started, I'd like to ask a question to the chat. Yes or no? Do you think Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Tony Stark in Spider-Man 3 could save movie theaters? Could it save movie theaters? Theaters, as we call them. Oh yeah, what a lovely and beautiful way to get your Monday started. Alrighty then. Good morning. Welcome to the show, to the stream that always has the lights on behind me. What up? How y'all doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing quite well. It's gonna be a good show, man. Look, I was surprised a little bit by the answer that you guys had in the chat about Robert Downey Jr. You know, Kevin Feige just did a little press thing recently, like yesterday. And word on the street is that he's rocking a pretty cool beard. Got a little quarantine beard action going on. Yeah. Right on, dude. It's dope. Because winter is coming, motherfuckers! It's... Marvel fans, we've waited a long time. I'm sick of all this bullshit. Sick of all... You know what? I'm going to be completely honest with you. Show notes. Show note it up. Show note it up. Show note it. Yeah, we're going to... Okay, look. Tonight, Nerd Theory. It's going down. We're talking Star Wars. But I'm actually kind of grateful to not be talking Star Wars like after that. Because here's the deal. Star Wars fans, why you do this? Why you do this? You're So, moving forward into this week of Marvel and the beginning of the MCU absolutely taking over pop culture for not only this year, but for the next couple of years. I welcome it. Please let us talk about Marvel. Bring all of the Marvel fans to the channel. If you have a family member, grandma, sister, person that you take care of on the weekends, something of that nature, and they like Marvel, bring them on over. We're about to go Marvel crazy. So this week, WandaVision. We're going to do just what we did with The Mandalorian. We will be doing After Dark on Thursday night right into a watch party in which we will watch for members only behind the scenes WandaVision together. 2 episodes, around 20-something minutes, a little bit of credits, and then right into the next one. And then after that, we will be going live. So if you are a crazy person like we are, and Friday morning at like around 4 in the morning, just like with The Mandalorian, we will be up and we will be streaming spoiler-filled, talking about the things that happened in the episode. Now, what's cool about that is, even if you're not up at 4 a.m., guess what? You can watch that video. Like immediately after you watch WandaVision, you can go watch that live stream. It'll be really cool, and you will still get the experience of the excitement that we will all have having just watched the show. Okay, so look for that this week. We are right back into, the swing of it, as it were, with this nerdy stuff, Meng. So I'm pretty excited for that. And in all seriousness, you know, Star Wars fans, like... Just shut your mouth for like a couple of years, and let's just get into Marvel. We're remember last year when for a brief moment in time we became a DC channel. Does anybody remember that? You're the worst Star Wars YouTuber? Then it'll be easy for you to fuck off, dude. I don't want Star Wars. I'm this close, Star Wars fans. I'm this close. Yeah. I might be able to watch 1 or 2 streams. Right. Yeah. So, last year when, man, I was so frustrated with Marvel and their lack of doing anything that a little bit of MCU news was like, oh, baby. or DC News was like, oh baby, and then we became a DCU channel after DC Fandom. You know, I was watching After Dark last Thursday, and Lavis made this incredible point. He said, you know, it was DC Fandom, but it's about to be like DC Thunderdome, because the shit that they have going on over there, they're making the Star Wars community look good. You know what I mean? Like that's what's going on at DC. DC's so bad, they're making... How many people are we losing today? How many subscribers are we... Seth, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. We're going to need more of you because we're losing all the Star Wars people today. Let go, baby. Let go. Get out of here. Get it out of your system. It's going to be dope, dude. Marvel is such a pleasure to cover. Marvel, the fans are more reasonable. Everybody tends to love most of the stuff that goes on. The grifters haven't really dug their hands into it yet. They really tried, you know. But, you know, they haven't been able to. So, it's nice. Oh, and the money's great, you know. I won't mention how much better the CPMs are for Marvel than Star Wars, but it's like 40% better. But I'd never mention that. Anyway, let's talk about RDJ, okay? And by the way, we will talk about and get into a lot of the stuff that Feige was asked this weekend. There was some clarification given, and I wanted to talk about Phase 4 versus Phase 5. Another sort of segment where I will braggadociously talk about how we were correct about something way before everybody else. So get ready for more of that on the way. Let's talk about RDJ, okay? I found it so interesting that many of you were like, nah, dude, like, it's not going to save theaters, right? Like, even if RDJ came back. Because this would be huge, okay? Like, make no mistake about it. It would be huge. But I actually agree with all of you. I don't think it's really going to save theaters. I'll tell you what it's not going to do is turn back time. He doesn't actually have the time stone, you know what I mean? So I still see theaters on a pretty bad trajectory. However, this is kind of an interesting point here. There are some people out there, and some rather intelligent people, that are forecasting that it will fall to the Marvel Cinematic Universe to more or less save status quo theater attendance. Yeah. And if you think about it, and I've often said this before, and I kind of say it tongue-in-cheek, but I think there's some truth to this. Movie theaters in general have been kept alive by the Marvel Cinematic Universe for, like, arguably the past 5 years. You know what I mean? You could say maybe even before that. Like, Marvel, I mean, $23 billion is pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty legitimate, you know? And obviously Disney wouldn't have purchased the company if they didn't see the value in the company. Okay? Now, Feige, one of the things Feige was just asked in one of his recent interviews was about Black Widow. Okay? Did you guys catch this when he was asked about Black Widow? Did you guys catch that when he was talking about it? He technically said it could get delayed again. That's what he technically said. Now, what's interesting about that is, if he's saying that, what that means is they are holding out for that theatrical experience, which kind of boggles the mind. Yeah. All right, hang on. My eyes are so old that I have to go to a bigger screen to see the new member we just got. Mr. Herban. Welcome to the Nerd Vengers. Sorry, I'm old. I can't see your I can't see the text today for some reason. My eyes are extra bad today. Apologies, my friend. But welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You're a Nerd Venger now. Nailed it. Thank you. So, man, we got to start putting these pieces together, okay? That's what I'm saying. It's like we got to start putting these pieces together and just think about what is going on here with DOS Marvel Cinematic Universe. And look, He didn't say it was going to be delayed. What he said was, you would think after a year it would be okay to be released, but you never know, essentially. Right? Like, that's the way I read the answer. But it really felt like the only reason you say that is if you're holding out for some theatrical. And look, dude, this is a holy place built of nerdy walls of imagination, fun, and other things that I can't think of because it's Monday. Give me a goddamn break. But outside of these walls, you may have noticed a few things going on outside. Some turmoil. Yes? So, look, man, I don't know. I don't know what to talk to you about or tell you about all that. Maybe we would hope that, you know, the vac to the scene hits the scene and we're all gravy baby. But I don't know. I don't know if you can necessarily just count on that. And I think especially after a year that they had last year, I actually think it's fairly wise to sort of put that out there, to be like, yeah, no, it should be fine, but who knows? And here's the thing. I don't think he's saying that they're 100% sticking to theatrical, right? He didn't say that either. But let's just add it up, dude. Like, at the Disney Plus, this is what's so weird. At the Disney Plus Investor Day call, which essentially the only mandate was get everybody way too hyped up about Disney Plus. That's what the mandate was. It's a bit like, let's get the investors to go crazy. Let's get Twitter to go crazy. Let's get everybody to go crazy. And everybody to write articles like Disney Plus dominating HBO Max. You know what I mean? That's sort of the play. But if you're doing that, especially after HBO Max just announced all of the theatrical, all of it, in 2021 is going direct to HBO Max, that would be the moment where Disney would be like, oh, really? You're going to do that? Well, guess what? We're going to do that with our movies, and we've got, like, movies people care about. You know what I mean? But they didn't, right? They didn't. That's interesting. You combine that with the Black Widow answer, it really looks like they're waiting for a theatrical. My point is this. I think Feige is currently doing something and cooking something up with Disney Plus and the connective tissue between Disney Plus and the cinematic universe that is truly special and unique. Okay? And the more I think about this moment in time and what Feige might be looking to do with the different IP, man, some really interesting things start to come together. Now, let's move into directly speaking. Gavin Duffy Reagan, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You're a Nerd Venger now. By the way, love you all. We do super chats at the end of the stream, right? So I love you, love you, love you. I will go over the super chats. At the end of the stream, we'll get into Q&A, okay? Usually this is what happens. If you're new to the show, I get on here, I flap my gums for a while. I'm just talking about nerdy stuff. I yell a little bit, blah, 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 and then we'll get into all that. So let's talk about this RDJ thing. First thing up front, I must tell you, this does come from semi-reliable people. And here's the thing. Man, here's the thing about this. I had to think about whether or not I wanted to talk about this. I decided to talk about this because I feel like many of you will just blindly think it is not true. And because I technically don't know this to be true at all. That's honest fact. I don't know this to be true. Okay? Let's get that out of the way. However, I would be lying to you if I told you my spidey sense was not tingling. And what I believe is that this may well be something that a lot of people actually already know about. And one of the reasons why, here, let's start here. Oh, Trev, there's no lag. You must learn to understand troll talk. So let's begin with this. I believe this is what happened. This came from Daniel Richtman on Patreon. But I think from what I understand, he sort of referenced it as a rumor. Okay. Okay, so he referenced it as a rumor. Okay, now let's think about this. A lot of scoopers and insiders and people have been saying that, you know, when people say things like, oh, dude, Spider-Man 3 sounds crazy, it's going to be this, and this. I've often heard back from people, oh, yeah, you have no idea. Oh, yeah, all the rumors going on right now. Yeah, that's cool. You have no idea how crazy that shit's about to be. And I've always been like, what could be crazier than all these Spider-Men, all these Spider-Villains, and all of these things? What could possibly be crazier than all of that? You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. Tobey? Well... Okay, so let's stop there. Let's put that to the side. So it comes from probably reasonable people. There's been a lot of rumors. Oftentimes, if scoopers... Look, here's the thing. I know some sources that know everything, and they won't tell me everything because they don't want to ruin everything. While, actually, some of the times, there are big things that they actually specifically don't want to tell them. And let's just say you were somebody that knew everything about The Mandalorian Season 2 when it released. Okay, because there were people that did. If you were one of those people, you'd probably feel comfortable talking about certain things. And you'd probably want to talk and maybe even leak out certain things. But there would be an understanding, sort of an unwritten rule, that Luke Skywalker, nah, dude, that is something you are definitely not talking about. That is something which, first of all, they mitigate who even knows about that. But, like, my point is, sometimes, oh, man, I don't want to blow anybody's spot up, so I'm trying to be vague here. But there's people out there that know a thing, but they can't print it or report on it for whatever reason. Okay? And so, what if Robert Downey Jr. returning as Tony Stark in Spider-Man 3 is actually this super well-known thing that a lot of people know about, but they're not allowed to talk about. And the only way you can talk about it, this is where the weirdness of this game comes in. The only way you can actually talk about it is if a separate channel or a separate piece of information comes out that then hints to it. Because what you do then is look, I'm talking a little out of pocket. My point is this. It's possible that a lot of people know that this is happening. And that they're literally hiding it because it would be insanity. And also think about this. So why are all the rumors of Robert Downey Jr. being in Star Wars and all of that? Why are all those rumors picking up? You know what I mean? Why are people talking about RDJ in Star Wars? I don't know. Could it be connected? Could it be connected? And then, beyond all like that sort of circumstantial evidence and the thoughts that I have about it, there's the fact that Robert Downey Jr. took a big break from, he was done with Tony, okay? He was done. However, let's not fool ourselves. The last year, or the change in the world since Robert said goodbye to that character, I mean, it feels like a whole nother decade has happened, you know? And I think that a lot of this, if he were to come back, obviously hinges on his desire to do so. Let's take money off the table because he doesn't need it. So he's not, and you know, again, no offense to Toby, but Toby's over there like, I need 2 trucks full of money. Not 1 truck, I need 2 trucks full of money. Which, by the way, I heard he got. It's not about money for Robert. So, what is it about? Well, if you've heard him talk about this in interviews, and I think the best example of this was the Joe Rogan Experience, where he goes into it and he sort of explains that he feels like that's they did everything they could with that character. That character is closed, and that there's not really much to do. Like, wouldn't that take away from it? You know, et cetera, et cetera. That really felt like, at least for me, his attitude when he was speaking about it. But there were some sort of possibilities left open when he said this. He said, I think the audience will tell us what they want, and we'll know what to do when the time's right. The fuck does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, I love Zen. I don't know what that means, but that's interesting. It's interesting you would say that. I think he even went on in other interviews to even imply that Tony could be back. You know what I mean? I literally think he's implied that in other interviews. I know people have printed it. That doesn't mean much anymore these days, unfortunately. But I think there was some validity to it. I believe it was something involved with his wife. He was in some kind of interview or something. He was hinting at coming back. If you're Robert Downey Jr., okay, and it's a whole bunch of different things that happened. I don't want to get too into it, but I think even Chadwick passing affected Robert deeply. You know what I mean? I think that. And I think, too, I don't think he's coming back in a permanent capacity. So let me just kind of put that to bed. Like, I don't think he's coming back in a permanent capacity. But I think there are plenty of things that have changed since he walked away that would make him reconsider coming back. And by the way, I actually think the plan was always for him to come back, but I do believe that now they have altered that plan, that they have changed it, and that they want to make Spider-Man 3 the most insane film whatsoever. So if you're sort of following me, what we've talked about is sort of the evidence for this, you know, where it's coming from, where my thoughts are, you know what I mean? Then we've sort of talked about Robert as a human, as best we know him. We have a parasocial relationship with him. We don't really know him, but we can surmise things, right? So Robert and his feelings about the character are sort of what we talked about. Now let's talk about the industry. Tom Cruise wants to save the industry by flipping out on motherfuckers risking their life to make sure that he gets a nice glow on him, okay? Now that's slightly a joke, but it's also kind of true. I understand why he freaked out. That whole industry is, yeah, bad, tough break there, you know? Tough break there, Hollywood. But I don't think that Tom Cruise yelling or this stupid whatever reboot is going to save Hollywood. You know, as we said before, I don't even think maybe Tony coming back would save Hollywood. But the more I thought about Spider-Man 3 and the possibility of Spider-Man 3 being positioned as a film, it comes out December or November of next year, right? Spider-Man 3? Somebody help me out. What's the official release date for Spider-Man 3 now? I think it's December. Maybe it's November. Because I know you got Eternals. I think you got Eternals in December. And then you got... Oh, it's this year. Right. That's what I meant. I'm still in 2020. December. Okay, thank you. So, hopefully by that time you have some semblance of normalcy. The vac to the scene has hit the streets. And everybody's feeling good with our new powers afforded to us by the vac to the scene. So, by then, hopefully everything's gravy, baby, and we can get back in them theaters if you want to. Which it will be interesting to see if you want to. I think Spider-Man 3 was already going to be an insane movie. I think right now it actually has the potential to be what Christopher Nolan thought Tenet could be, right? Remember when Christopher Nolan thought his weirdo, like, down the rabbit hole brain wave time trip movie was going to save Hollywood? And it was now headed towards its destruction. What a twist! That is a good twist. That is, as Paul from Heavy Spoilers pointed out, that's quite a Nolan twist. To want to be the thing that saves theaters and then create the product that damn near destroys it or sets them on a course for absolute destruction. What a twist! So, Spider-Man 3 could actually be that thing because unlike Christopher Nolan's art house, goobly glob, self-congratulatory, pseudo-intellectual bullcrap, we could watch fucking Spider-Man flip around, dog. You know what I mean? We're going to watch Spider-Man flip around, okay? All of them together, flipping around, high-fiving each other. Just, like, woo! I love Peter Parker. You know what's better than Peter Parker? Another one. You know what's better than 2 Peter Parker? Another one! By the way, both studios... Well, actually, no. That one's fake. Yeah, that one I think is fake. Never mind. I can't talk about that. Okay. Yeah. So, I think there's an argument to be made, ladies and gentlemen, that they would want to pump up the jam, as it were, for Spider-Man 3. Go big. Lastly, before we just ramble a little bit more and then get into Q&A, lastly, I'd like to talk about, from a character perspective, for the character of Peter from our universe, Tom Holland, why meeting Tony Stark from a different universe via the multiverse of madness why that would be great for the character. So I think one of the big things with this version of Peter is that he obviously has this like deep connection with Tony. And that is like, he's sort of left in the wake of Tony in the last movie. Right? So we sort of lens through him living in the wake of Tony, understanding that responsibility, kind of like getting out on his own. He's searching for another mentor in Mysterio, right? It's sort of like, this cyclical thing with him. And I think I've heard Feige say in interviews that what they're calling it Homecoming 3 now, which I think is kind of cool. That Homecoming 3 will bring closure and make Peter his own man. And so like what this one is all about is like Peter actually stepping out on his own and becoming his own man. And I think a possible cool way to do that is to have some scenes between Tony Stark and Peter. Now, there's all sorts of ways they could do this. They could do this with holograms. They could do this with time travel. They could do this with the multiverse. My gut tells me it'll be multiverse. But the point is, if you think about it, a scene between Tony and Peter with a little bit more closure, I think could be really useful for the character. And so the more I sat back and was like, I do wonder what White Suge has planned. You know? And I do wonder why everybody... This is where these people are screwing up. It's like, dude, you should have just let people ride with, like, all these Sinister Six and different Spider-Man. But no, you had to hint at even more craziness. You had to hint at stuff that was even more wild. In fact, I'll be honest with you. I have half a mind to believe that Reed Richards will be in Spider-Man 3. Now, that is far out. You know what I mean? That's far out. But, yep. Yep. I just think a lot of it adds up, actually. You know? And you think about this. If Tony's coming back, there's rumors that he might do some lines in Armor Wars. There's some debate about that. That he could be doing something in Armor Wars. Likely, you know, not really screen time, AI, et cetera, et cetera. But, man, if they really tee him up for something crazy in Spider-Man 3, that's going to blow minds, dude. It's going to blow minds. And again, you know, if everything had just gone on normally, I don't think this is the play. Like, let me just be clear. I do not think that Feige was like, oh yeah, and then we'll just bring Tony back for the next Spider-Man. Nah, bro. That shit didn't happen. They weren't even going to make the next Spider-Man. Things have changed, dude. Things have changed. We just took a whole year off of the MCU. You know, a lot of people talk about how without Tony, without Steve, and now without T'Challa and some of these other characters, it's like, dude, how are you going to keep that audience? You know? How are you going to keep them excited and engaged? Well, if you bring Tony back, because here's what we're hearing. You know, who knows for sure. But if the Spider-Man deal is figured out and Feige's got Tom, and he's like, got him. Like, a whole nother trilogy. Avengers movies. Tom Holland. Boom. MCU. Spider-Man for Evs. Right? Well then, dude, you re-leverage back to Spidey. So I know this has been weird, but there was a shuffle. So in 2019, after the Spider-Man deal fell out, there was a shuffling of things, and I think Feige was clearly shifting things around. Let's talk about the San Diego Comic-Con from 2019. Okay? So if you were here in 2019 when we did San Diego, put a 1 into the chat. Don't lie. I know a lot of you were not. I know what the numbers were back then. So don't fucking lie to me. Cool. Cool. Okay. So here's what's interesting about this, and some of you will remember this. When that happened, I was like, you know, I think this was not the original announcement. Do you guys remember this? I was like, nah, there's more Phase 4. It's basically what I said, right? In fact, I put a video up on Twitter yesterday. Maybe we should... no, I don't want to watch this whole fucking video. But the point is, around that time, go to our Twitter. I have the video on our thing. And it's a video from 2019 after San Diego Comic-Con where I was talking about how some people, this was basically Cosmic Wonder, Everything Always, War Stew, pick your person that's terrible. And they were saying that Phase 5 was going to be announced at D23. It was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard. We just got the Phase 4 announcement. Motherfuckers out here saying we're going to get a Phase 5 announcement at D23 like a month and a half later. And I was like, you are out of your mind. And then as I looked into it, I was like, oh, wait, but there is a lot of stuff that they didn't announce. And so my theory became there was a whole nother year, maybe 2 years of Phase 4 that Feige kept off of the announcement in 2019, and he did so directly because Spider-Man fell out. the Spider-Man deal was currently falling out. That it was all happening so fast, which again, negotiations, the speed of negotiations.
I guess we all have future pants. They're pants we're going to wear tomorrow.
It's pretty interesting, man. I don't know for sure if there's like causality there, if we know for sure what's going on, but like I'm just telling you guys, think about it, man. What do you think? Now that we've talked about it and I've sort of pitched you, do you think that RDJ will be in Spider-Man 3? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Yes or no? Let me know. And then I know we got a new member. Let's see what we got here. Oh, man. What? Xenius. Welcome to the Nerdvengers. Nerdvenger Prime. Worst dude, thanks for the shout out. No problem. I will say this about Worst dude. He's got balls. I find it hard to believe RDJ will be there. I missed a member. Jason Wilson, welcome to the Nerdvengers. You're a Nerdvenger now. Welcome. Can I please knight Saladini? Absolutely. Saladini, my friend. Welcome to the Nerdvengers. You are a Nerdvenger now. Didn't see, whatever. Sorry. Didn't see that come in. Xenius. I pronounced it right? Well, that is rare indeed. I don't pronounce anything right. This is actually me, dude. It's all good. No, I know it's you. I recognize the avatar. Worst dude, do you remember when you were horrible about that and I was right? Also, were you not horrible about that? Am I getting it wrong? Hey, Josh, what's my real name? I don't know, dog. I don't know, dog. I don't know about that. You never got knighted? Derek, welcome. Welcome to the Nerdvengers. Look, the point is, in all seriousness, there was a lot of debate about what was going on with the MCU announcements at that time. I had felt like, and it's funny because you can go to the video on Twitter, again, from 2019, confirmed. And I even talk about Captain Marvel 2 and Black Panther 2 happening in 2023. And I actually thought there would be a third movie back then. I think I said you'd have Black Panther 2, Captain Marvel 2, and then your New Avengers, which you're kind of going to have, but New Avengers and Captain Marvel 2 are going to be the same thing. So when I had talked about that, I was like, dude, there's no way. Now, that kind of stuff, like, maybe I had heard something, But, I mean, I think at this point it's pretty clear there was a lot more Phase 4, and it got shifted around. You know what I mean? It got shifted around. So, I don't know. Hey, Jacob Nixon, your face looks like a butt. Which is the nice version of what I wanted to say. All right, let's get into these super chats. And then we'll do a little Q&A for like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or something like that, and then we'll get out of here, okay? Mason Graves with the $2 holla says, you need to get Theory into Marvel and the MCU right now. I actually think he is into Marvel. He's just not like super into it. You know what I mean? But that's the point, is like everybody's into Marvel. Who's not into Marvel? But her DC fans? The real Jesse says, my mom is in the hospital for a new hip. She'll be fine, but I'm nervous because she's in her 70s. Let's get lively and sweaty chat going on. Hey, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope your mom's doing well. Sending positive vibes. Love, love, love to the mom. I'm sure she'll be okay. Dan Larkin with the $5 holla says, is there any, this is a beautiful question. Is there any specific reason you haven't been on any of the group streams with Theory or just coincidentally busy. Missed you last night. Two things on that. Number one, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I don't like being in a stream with like a million talking heads. And by a million, I mean like just basically more than 3 or 4. It's just not for me. I don't like it. You know what I mean? And I actually, look, I'm not trying to be rude. I also don't think it's that entertaining. You know what I mean? But the stream yesterday and the amount of money that those guys raised is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. That's fucking incredible. What was it, like in the 30s or something? 30,000 or something like that? I could check it. Look, that's incredible. And hats off and shout out to all of those guys. But as far as your question is concerned, the couple of things going on with that, but one is that I really don't like to stream publicly on the weekends. On the weekend, I stream for the members, and we get into some deep stuff, and we go some crazy places. Like our Sunday stream was nuts. But I don't. I like my time, man. I like my time. You know what I mean? I need to just be like yesterday. I watched the Steelers game. Don't even get me started. Do you really want to take me to this dark place? Because I was watching the Steelers game, and I don't really watch the Steelers. You know, I'm a Steelers fan. I live in Pittsburgh. I'm a Steelers fan. Been a Steelers fan all my life. But I'm also very busy, and I'm just not that into football anymore. Gonna be honest. Not that into football anymore. But, of course, when the playoffs roll around, that's when everybody watches the game. And what a game. The Browns. Come on, man. The Browns? I mean, I know I haven't been paying attention this season, but the Browns? Come on, man. So what did I do yesterday? I mean, look, I again, wish those guys well. Love them all. That's awesome. You know, do your thing. I just wanted to sit on the couch, get drunk and inebriated, and watch football. And that shit's good for my soul. I need to recharge, and then I need to come back in with focus. But that's just how I operate. You know what I mean? Other people operate the way they operate. So there's my long-winded answer, and also the first time I'll show any sign of pain from the Steelers loss. I really, you know, it was like for Steeler fans, 2021. Watching the beginning of 2021 was like watching the beginning of that game. Like, how does Pouncey is like one of the best centers ever. How does that happen? I was watching it yesterday and I was like, of course. Of course. What did you expect to happen? We're living in the simulation. Have you not been paying attention? Are you not looking around? We're in the simulation, baby. So of course that happened. CGM Show says, for the $5 holla, everyone can say they will not go to theaters, but if Infinity War and Endgame were coming this year to theaters, everyone would go to see it still. That's an interesting question. You know, I think in a way, I agree with you. In a way, I don't. And I think Feige actually spoke to this point in the media thing yesterday, and he kind of said that they were lucky that they were sort of done with one chapter and starting a new one when this all happened. And I'm not so sure about that, actually. Look, we will see either way, CGM Show. We will see. Like, if people just don't show up, then, like, look, the proof is in the pudding. People just didn't show up, you know? So we'll see, you know? I still really think theaters are a diminished industry, and I think you need to kind of move for the future. Stephen J with a $5 holla says, if they can't protect the theater industry, you can be damn sure they'll avenge it. Oh, snap, Stephen. Cool. I like that. That's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. I like that. Yeah, we'll see, man. I think if people look, obviously things have to change. Like, if you think we're just gonna snap back, like, who really thinks we're just gonna snap back to like the way everything was? You know what I mean? Like, come on, let's get real. So hopefully, people can adjust and industries can adjust, and we can move forward. John Hicks with a very generous $25 holla says, "Yo, homie, big week ahead. Appreciate you for getting us through this Marvel hiatus with all the solid content. Looking forward to stepping into the MCU as a Nerdvenger." Hey, baby, welcome, man. It's good stuff. Look, this is going to be an incredible year for Marvel fans, and we've got a lot to talk about. We've got a lot of content to enjoy together. We've got a lot of theories, a lot of things to extrapolate out. Going to be talking a lot about super soldiers. Going to be talking a lot about thunderbolts. Going to be talking a lot about secret invasion. We're going to be talking a lot about general paranoia in the post-blip snap world. Oh, man. What exciting things await us. Oh, man. Gavin Duffy Reagan, I don't know if I knighted you, but welcome to the Nerdvengers. You're a Nerdvenger now. Big Stevie says, does RDJ coming back as an evil Tony? That would be very interesting to see how Peter would react to that. Now, look, first of all, Steve, I think that you've been watching the streams a little too much because you know exactly how to get me excited. Of course, that would be dope. But, like, what if he's fighting an evil Tony? And the evil Tony is Tom Cruise. You know, that'd be kind of cool too, right? I think you need him to be heroic or take a heroic turn. So, hey, maybe they could do something like that. Who knows for sure. Keaton Haas with the $5 hollow with the After Dark purple drank emoji. Absolutely. By the way, guys, we should be back to normal this week. Obviously, last week was a little crazy. We should be back to normal this week. Thursday night After Dark, Saturday afternoon, you should have your afternoon stream. And then we've got some other really cool stuff planned and cooking as well. So good stuff will be coming. Keaton, thank you so much for the love. Andre Flores says, Spider-Man just have his own story without Tony's involvement. I'm sick and tired of Peter being tied to Tony at the hip. Right? Right, yeah. Well, he's not going to be tied to him this time. But what if Tony, or a version of Tony, was alive the whole time watching Peter post-snap and having conversations with Doctor Strange and maybe Reed Richards, and they were all aware of what was going on, and yet that Tony, despite all the pain and everything that Peter was going through, did not step in and save the day and allowed him to struggle and allowed him to figure it all out. And then you just have sort of a scene of closure. What if he's really not in the movie much at all? Would that feel a little bit better? You know what I mean? Demen05 says, do you think the MCU Spider-Man ever had an Uncle Ben? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I think he had an Uncle Ben, and I think we might meet that Uncle Ben. I don't know if that Uncle Ben's even dead yet. Maybe that Uncle Ben is gone. Who knows? Vito, if you had a choice to be a Power Ranger, oh my Jesus, or an X-Men, what color Ranger would you pick? I guess it's blue for you, red and green for Veed. First of all, shut your mouth, Vito. The Power Rangers can't hold a damn candle to the X-Men, and I like the Power Rangers. The Power Rangers aren't fit to hold the jock straps of the X-Men, and I'm even talking about the ladies. So shut your mouth when you're talking about the Power Rangers. Now, for me, it would be the White Ranger or the Red Ranger, because those ones are the cool ones. So I like that one. And Tommy back in the day was the best, man. So he was green, I guess, huh? Tommy was green? Green, and then he became white, huh? Yeah. Yeah, so that's the color I would be. But X-Men are totally better. Okay. Glad we got that figured out. Cool. Cool. Let's see here. Geologist B says, sorry I'm late. Deploy the likes. Hi, everybody. What's up? How are you? Darth Clean says, for some reason, I'm not a member anymore. Link. The link should be pinned. And also, I don't know. YouTube is Super good at what they do. Rogue Soul with a $5 holla says, don't feel obligated to read this aloud, but I'm... Love me, man. Don't feel like I accidentally stepped on your toes. Gotta say I'm sorry. I love you, man. Hey, it's all love. Look, if you are really sorry and you really love me, that's all you need to worry about. I don't hold it against you. I just do what I have to do. There's many plates spinning, and I'm not necessarily as offended or focused or even involved with some things that you might think. I don't know if that made sense, but look, here's the version of it that might make sense. It ain't that deep. It ain't that deep. Bills fan says, support the Buffalo Bills, baby. Ugh, I mean, cool. LMD Tony says, Big Stevie. I doubt that. I doubt it's going to be an LMD Tony. That'd be wild. All right. Let's hang for like 10, 15 more minutes. What questions do you want answered? Rebels animated sequel show got scrapped when season 1 was basically done. Yeah, so this is interesting, right? So Corey and Noah, and by the way, I've been sort of talking about them for a while. Well, I've been talking with them about this for a long time. When they had the Rebels sequel scoop, it was good. Look, I don't know how else to tell you this. It was solid. Like multiple people saying like, yes, Rebel sequel series, absolutely a thing. Okay. Again, though, that was a long time ago. Holy shit, was that a long time ago? And I guess yesterday, and I'll have to talk about, or rather, I'll have to watch their videos to get super clear on what the report is. I actually might just chat with those guys later this week because I have some stuff that I've heard that I want to talk to them about. So likely we'll just do that later. But apparently the story is from Corey and Noah that the Rebels sequel series was scrapped. And it was scrapped, and then the scripts and story for that show got turned into the Ahsoka live action show. Damn, that's wild. Damn. What does that mean? Good gravy. I don't know, man. Let's see here. TCS Studios. You're a Nerd Venger now. Welcome. Welcome to the Nerd Vengers. Deontay Epps. You're a Nerd Venger now. Welcome to the Nerd Vengers. And I will get into those super chats as well. Guys, this is super embarrassing. I have to go pee-pee in the potty. As the grown-ups say, okay? So I'm going to go pee-pee in the potty. Hold it down for me for just a second, okay? And if you can hold it down and be good, then I'll come back and we'll keep streaming. If you're good. Can you be good? Did everybody leave? Can we actually like talk now? Is everybody? Oh my God, Chet, what are you playing? Oh, you just started it? Well, no. What did I tell you about putting Godfather's freaking playlist on this shit? Now you got freaking funeral music going on. Beautiful, wonderful. Okay. Let us continue, yes? Let us continue. I think we got a couple of more Supas here, huh? Get through these. Ben Edwards says, Eagles. Dude, look, I love the Eagles. What's up with the Pittsburgh teams this year, man? Come on, man. I will say watching the Eagles win the Super Bowl with Foles was one of the most magical sports experiences of my life. That shit was incredible. And then, of course, Philly showed their true colors, and what a nice place with nice people it is. Godfather with a $5 holler says, Tony is Uncle Ben. Aunt May knew exactly who Tony was in Civil War. Uncle Ben was May's way of not telling Spidey he's Tony's bastard. Hey, look, that would be interesting. I think people would riot in the streets, actually. And by the way, that is a joke that is fastly becoming not cool to say. Rob with the $5 hollow says, Josh, do you think they will use the multiverse, Doctor Strange 2, and Ant-Man 3 to introduce Dark Avengers or Illuminati? Yes. So my gut tells me, here's where I'm at with this. Wow, you got that music up loud, Chet. Pull that shit. Yuck. Okay. Here's what my gut tells me with this. Illuminati, for sure, in some capacity. Cabal, probably, depending on what they do with Norman. And also, Thunderbolts is definitely a thing, and it kind of seems like Thunderbolts will exist in the sort of that realm of Dark Avengers. So I don't think we're going to go right into Dark Avengers. I think the Thunderbolts and what he is doing, what Ross is doing to get all those people together, yeah, I think that's going to be Thunderbolts. And that's what the conventional wisdom says. That's also what a lot of the scoopers and whatnot say as well. Okay? So that's where I'm at with that, Rob. I hope that's a good explanation for you, brother. King says, I feel like if we get Tony and Spidey 3, it's the AI that eventually inhabits Ironheart's armor. Okay, that's interesting. I do like that concept. I like that idea. But again, I don't think he needs to. Like, I don't even necessarily want Tony as an AI in the. Like, I don't necessarily want that. But I understand what you're saying. And you know what? Maybe I'm in the minority, actually, the more that I think about this. Because, you know, look, the MCU fan base is just huge, right? So it's hard because I don't, unlike other fan bases, like in Star Wars, I think there's a fair argument to be made that like the sweaty, more hardcore folks make up a pretty large percentage of that. When it comes to the MCU, I don't know if that's the case. It's so mainstream that it's a lot of normies, right? So maybe a lot of normies don't care at all, and they want Tony back. They're like, no. If he's the AI or whatever, you know, this, that, I want him back, and it would help. Sure. And maybe that's true, and they'll do that, you know, but that's not really where I'm at with it. That's not really what I desire from it. I still feel as though Tony's arc is actually incredible, dude. Like, kind of incredible. So leave it alone, but you can still use him, especially with the multiverse, etc., as a note in Peter's story. So think about this. It reminds me of Man of Steel, because in Man of Steel, he has Clark has interactions with his dad, but it's not really his dad. It's like a AI recreation of him. And I remember, it's so funny, when I watched the day that the Snyder Cut was announced, I remember watching that stream with Zack Snyder and all those guys, and I remember Henry asked him a really interesting question. Henry was like, I have a question for you, Zack. And he asks about whether or not the AI Russell Crowe, his dad, does that thing love Clark? Can it love him? And Zach's answer was no, that thing does not love Clark. But it is a love letter to Clark from his father. Like, that's the way you think of it. And so that's sort of the way I think I would use Tony in the story. You know what I mean? Like, essentially, it's sort of like bringing him back, but you don't tamper with that story that is intact, you know, kind of on its own. And there's something to be said for the possibility of, and we've talked about this before, but the possibility of Marvel actually coming up with some interesting rules for how that could all go down, and the possibility of really, really weird and interesting things happening with different characters and the Sinister Six, etc., etc. Lord Vito says the Power Rangers will rise again. Mark my words, Veed. If the Power Rangers somehow make a comeback and come to a crazy place in pop culture, and they're like anywhere near, you know, the Marvel, Star Wars, DC kind of realm, we will do a dedicated weekly Power Rangers podcast, and we'll have you host it. How about that? How about that? King says Voltron better than Power Rangers. Fight me. Uh-oh. Children, play nice. Veed says, also, you excited for the new Mortal Kombat? I am. Not really, man. I'm just be real with you. Haven't really been following it. Not really that into it. I love Mortal Kombat, though. I do. I'm actually more of a Marvel vs. Capcom guy, but the last Marvel vs. Capcom was trash, right? I thought Infinite was trash. So, the best fighting game out right now, I think, is still Dragon Ball FighterZ. Or, you know, there's some cool stuff out there. Like the new Soul Calibur was cool, etc., etc. I'm sure the new Mortal Kombat will be sick. Just not on my radar. Baby Yoda's Escape Pod says Spider-Man 3 gotta be how we get Deadpool in the MCU, right? I mean, it's possible Deadpool shows up as well. Who knows such things? Only the Oracle. You know what I mean? But I appreciate the love, Baby Yoda's Escape Pod. Thank you. Crazed Panda says, so pumped for Friday. MCU is back, baby. Absolutely. MCU's back. I'm very excited, man. I'm very excited. We got some cool videos planned throughout the week. It's pretty much time to shift full on into the MCU. And, oh, baby, is my body ready? WandaVision will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how people react to it. Regardless, I think there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about. And I know we have some exciting stuff planned too. Yes, perhaps that's the best way to say it. Yes. Should be fun. All right, guys, I'll hang out for like 10 more minutes because I know we started late. I apologize. We keep starting late. Breaking news. Deadpool confirmed to be rated R in the MCU. Awesome. Sounds about right. When is Duncan becoming a sponsor? I don't know. Secret Wars seeding anytime soon. So yes. So Daniel, what I think is going on is Tony coming back originally was only for like Secret Wars maybe way in the future. And I think what's happening now is they're actually trying to seed faster, and they've changed their plans because of DC's multiverse plans and a little bit because of the deal they have with Sony. Okay? So that's what I think is going on there. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Now you're on Nerdventure time. It's all good, homie. Yeah, I saw people in the Discord calling it JST, Josh Standard Time. And I can't lie. I've gotten a little late these days. I don't sleep well anymore. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. 34 Virgo says, bro, why can't we ever get a badass Gambit in X-Men instead of doing over most of the same guys, also Savage Land characters? Yeah, agreed. 34 Virgo, I will tell you this, man. I think the possibility of all kinds of crazy things happening is high. I mean, think about it. It's Feige, right? I mean, it's Feige. and the X-Men. Like, come on now. Like, it's... I think we're in for something really special, man. Especially, like, if you think about it, there's a strong possibility that, like, a lot of these mutants are going to start popping up, like, immediately. So, like, if you get an X-Men, or not an X-Men, but if you get some mutants in WandaVision, you get some mutants in Black Widow, you get some mutants in Shang-Chi, and then you get some mutants in Eternals, Loki. Like, dude, I could see mutants popping up in every single MCU thing moving forward. And then, I think they're going to trickle in effect, put in the Fantastic Four over the next couple of years. And then we will head into doing X-Men. Kind of cool. Josh, go take a nap. Plenty of time to rest when you're dead. Slabs C, welcome to the Nerd Vengers at a Nerd Venger Prime level. Check out the stream from yesterday. I thought it was fantastico. You should be able to see it now on the tab. You seen Kevin Feige's beard? Man got a whole new look. Oh, yeah. What up, Josh? Ant-Man 3's title next. Quantumania is very similar to the Raimi Spider-Man film's font. Do you think Tobey could appear in this film? Sure. Tobey could be in that movie. Sure. He's got a beard and he's slimmed down. Uh-oh. Next thing you know, he's going to get ripped and people will turn on him. You know? I saw Mark... why am I blanking on his name? Christian Harloff's friend, Mark? Fuck, what's his name? Why do I feel terrible. He made a funny joke online where he said, my goal in my New Year's resolution in 2020... Mark Ellis. He said, my New Year's resolution in 2021 is to get so ripped that Twitter turns on me. Yo, that shit's so true. Oh my god. Yova Rod said, oh, and we haven't even talked about, never mind. Yova Rod says, Josh, thoughts about Daisy Ridley as Spider-Woman? I don't hate it. Does she want to do that, though? I don't think she wants to do that. She doesn't want to be in the limelight anymore, dude. Let her go do her own thing for a while, and then maybe she'll come back to Ray in some way, you know? Daisy Ridley could make a good Moira McTaggart. Honestly, dude, the lady they got to play Moira in Days of Future Past, she was brilliant. Timberwolf Studios with a $10 holla says, hey, Josh, how are you? What is your predictions to WandaVision, the first 2 episodes? My predictions. I predict magic. I predict, look, I'm going to do a big predictions video and stuff like that later in the week. So that's all I'll say for now. Look, the overall thing with the show is Wanda's losing her mind. There's some kind of pocket dimension that she's created. You know, she's either brought Vision back to life or Vision is dead and she's created some version of him. Something like that is going on. And there's also something nefarious. So the Beekeeper's interesting. Like, what is going on? Is it Nightmare? Is it Mephisto? Is it some weird combo of both of them? And then the back end of the show is apparently VFX through the roof, MCU level action. So what do I expect from WandaVision? I expect the first 3 weeks of WandaVision to be very weird and sort of David Lynchian, and we'll do a lot of theory crafting and sort of looking into Easter eggs, etc., etc. And then I think about halfway through the season things will flip and it's going to be insanity, dude. Insanity. Glenn Peters, the $5 holla, says, I live for this channel. I got to hang out with my boy Josh every day. Thank you for your content. Glenn Peters, thank you, man. That actually means a lot. And, you know, look, to those of you that are maybe new or whatever, look, I joke and perform when I'm on the mic. I treat this as a performance. You know what I mean? And I am wild and I like to have fun. And so, you know, things get misinterpreted. Some people think I'm a huge butthole and I'm just banning motherfuckers flagrantly. I think if you're actually paying attention, you will know that it is not the way it goes down here. I think if you're paying attention, you will realize what's going on over here. And what's going on is we're actually trying to build a welcoming community where people of diverse thought, and there's never been a time when thought wasn't more, I wouldn't even say diverse, I would just say polarized, because it's not even really diverse. So thought is polarized, and we are dedicated to creating a platform that people can leave the division as much as they possibly can behind them and walk into our doors and have fun. And if you're respectful and you're not a butthole, you're going to be just fine over here. You're going to be just fine. By the way, Tim. Oh, that's awesome. Yo, okay, so also, if you know about Thought Sauce, if you know about it, we're going to be going live today at 1 p.m. on Twitch. But I need to say this as well. There's new rules for Thought Sauce, and the first rule of Thought Sauce is we do not talk about Thought Sauce. So, as much as you can, don't talk about it. But we'll talk about not talking about it at 1. You know what I mean? The second rule is you don't talk about Thought Sauce. You don't do it. Yeah, never heard of it. I don't know what it is. I don't even know what we're talking about. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Anyway. Oh, man. It's going to be a good week. Woo! Timberwolf Studios, are you trolling? Did you not hear what I just said? We don't talk about it. So I would never tell you to search the real Thought Sauce on Twitch or ask someone on Twitter for a DM. Everything must be handled through messages now. Don't talk about it. Yo, Josh, I gotta go, but Quicksilver needs to come back in WandaVision. I think Quicksilver will come back. I think Quicksilver's on the menu. The question is he going to come back permanently? I don't know. Slabs C with the $5 holla says, hey, Josh, wifey and I watch almost every morning. Love it. Do you see Kevin Feige stepping away from Marvel and stepping into Star Wars? So I do. And by the way, thank you. I hope you both enjoy the show. It's a little weird for me sometimes. Like, there's this voice in my head that's like, what? People watch you fucking flap your guns on microphone? What happened? But then again, if you look outside, it's really like one of the least absurd things that's going on there. So let's just roll with it. Thank you, and thank your wife. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. As far as Kevin Feige stepping away, at some point he has to, right? Like, he can't just run Marvel Studios forever, okay? And the impact that he is making, you're cool, bro. The impact that he is making is just undeniable, and that's why they're listening to him in Star Wars. Like, they just basically are like, holy crap, we've got LeBron, of producers over here. You know, he's got some championships over here. Can he get some championships over here? The question becomes, at scale, how much can he do? How much influence can he have? How much influence should he have? And his team is, I think, a big question mark. Like, Victoria Alonso absolutely must be an incredibly talented, hardworking person. I just don't see her being that close to a guy like Feige and not being that type of person. I also 100% think she is an ideologue. And she might underestimate not what being an ideologue could do for your personal brand, but what talking about being an ideologue will do for your personal brand. I think she underestimates that. I think a lot of these people do. I mean, look, you know, case in point. Anyway, we'll talk more about that someday. So, I think Feige needs to. It's a funny thing, man. Sometimes with power, and this is a sort of a Zen principle. At some point, sometimes the more you give away, the more you have. Actually, it's a very interesting thing. And so he already has this sort of like team of lieutenants and people that he, you know, very much counts on. And the question will be, how much is he able to give away his sort of power while also maintaining influence and sort of helping the river as much as he can kind of just go the way he thinks it should. I do see him as being Disney brass eventually. So let's say 10, 15 years from now, probably more like 10. How old is he? I really don't know. He's probably like 50, right? I do see Feige eventually becoming like an Alan Horn or even maybe a Bob Iger, Bob Chapek, whatever. Because he's literally that talented. Yeah. So what does that look like in action? I don't know. I think we're about to see it. You know what I mean? So it's cool. Timberwolf Studios with a $2 holla says Josh, haha, still tired. Dude, it's all good, my guy. He's like 46, 47. Okay, cool. Yeah, so maybe in about 10 years, he will take over that Allen spot. Josh, how much do you weigh? Probably like 160, 170 right now. I don't know. I haven't checked in a long, long time. That's usually what I walk around at. I love lifting weights though, and when I lift, I tend to get heavier. So like I tend to get like 170 towards 180. I used to walk around when I was in high school, dude. I walked around at 225. Like I was a big boy. You know what I mean? Like, but these days I just don't eat like that. You know what I mean? So nowadays I'm like, hey, I'm super good with this. You know what I mean? Like this is way easier to walk around. And when you have bad knees, because here's the thing, I'll tell you a little story. I've got one bad knee that is like I tore my ACL, my PCL, and my PLC, the posterior lateral corner, which is really just a grouping of ligaments actually that sort of pulls this one section of your joint. I tore all of that. It was gone. When they went into my knee, the ACL and the PCL were not only torn, but had receded. They had like a rubber band receded into the legs. Okay? And I'll just tell you this, as fate would have it, that's now my good knee. So I have such bad knees that it's really bad. Tore the whole knee. Yeah, so my surgeon told me he had seen the injury, like he had seen a similar injury when he was in the Korean War. And a guy had jumped out of a helicopter and in order to like parachute out, and his leg got caught on something that was in the helicopter, and so this dude literally like was ripped by his leg hanging out of a helicopter, like just thrown around like by his leg. That's about what happened to my leg. I was like, dude, what? And here's the other thing that's crazy about that. I walked around on that for 9 months because I was so big. Like, I was so strong that I could be like, I would buckle and collapse a lot, but I was essentially so strong and stubborn that I was like, I'm good, I'm good. And I remember anyway, you're gonna catch me monologuing anyway. Anyway, it's because you're Polish and stubborn. Indeed, sir. What did you even do? Football injury, didn't get surgery, and then a basketball injury on the same leg. Probably should have got the surgery. How many Dunkin' iced coffees do you drink each day? 2 to 3. Josh, Jessica Jones is in the She-Hulk. Let's talk. Yeah, seems like that's going to be a thing. Yeah, it's going to be fun. She-Hulk's going to be a good time, man. She-Hulk's going to be good. You had a super chat, Mike? Oh, okay, I see it. Mike Mother Flippin' Porter says, I've noticed being a nerd, you lose sleep. Yeah. Sleep's overrated, dude. It's unfortunately, to be honest with you, I think sleep and rest are different things. Because I feel actually like rested, but I haven't slept a lot. Does that make sense? Morning stream makes your commute easier. Rock and roll, dude. I'm glad. Yo, this might be the perfect song to go out on. Seems kind of hot. Seems kind of like a fat beat right here. Ooh. Mike's fine. Yeah. You're at work. Bass Master 93. What's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to do it for us this morning. I'll see some of you at 1. I'll see many of you at 8 over on Star Wars Theories channel. I think I'm going to knock out a solo vid. I know we're going to do an edited version of this Tony Stark vid. And I might work on knocking out some other Marvel stuff. So make sure you check out the regular channel as well. Okay? All right, guys. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video.